I'm really excited to see the book come to life because I've read it for 2 years and I just really want to see it.
I love the story because John Green is my favorite author. This book is so real for teens, and he really speaks through the mind of teens, and he makes it really real for everyone to relate to. My favorite character is probably a tie between the two main characters, because I think Hazel's a really great representation of what a teenage girl thinks and feels, and Gus is just like the really sweet, perfect guy that like you didn't expect to walk into her life, and I just think that it's a really, really awesome story. I love it.
John, what can you tell us a little bit what it's like for you to watch the movie yourself after all this time?
You can have a lot of different experiences in Hollywood as an author, and I've had a few of them, and I have friends who've had a lot more of them, and this one is like almost unprecedented, where the whole time you just feel really grateful because everyone involved in the project is giving them of their extraordinary talent to your little story, and they're making it's so much bigger than you could have possibly made it on your own. So watching the movie, I just kept being like, wow, that is great cinematography by Ben Richardson, and like, wow, that is great direction by Josh Boone, and like, wow, these are amazing performances by these astonishingly talented actors, and like, and it just made me, yeah. And it just made me so grateful. I guess I left the theater feeling like happier about being a human being, a little sad as well, but happier about like this extraordinary gift of consciousness and the things that we can like build together. And so, yeah, it's just been amazing.
Can you talk a little bit about what you did to get ready, sort of both mentally and physically, to play your parts?
The first thing we had to do was read the amazing book that John wrote and really make sure that, really make sure that what we were doing made sense in terms of the book. Because if it, the book stands on its own as being an amazing piece of literature, amazing piece of art. So we wanted the movie to be something like that. Or, if it could be as good as that, that'd be amazing. So I think, we read the book, and for me, try to figure out who this Augustus Waters guy is. And, John did an amazing job describing him in the book, and then I learned a lot about him by spending time with John, and just, I think John is sort of like, Augustus and John are very similar guys. So spending a lot of...
I appreciate you noticing how handsome I am.
For me, a big part of Hazel is obviously the oxygen tank and her cannula, and I thought a lot about it, and after meeting with people who they themselves were stuck with an oxygen machine 24/7, I realized that if I were to accurately breathe the way Hazel, if she were a real person, would breathe, it wouldn't translate visually to the screen because we would have to... the movie would be really long. So for me, it was a hard, sort of tricky decision on what scenes to play out and incorporate the breathing into, and what scenes to sort of not forget about it, but not necessarily make it as big of a character as it would be in real life. And then as far as the emotionality goes, I mean, the thing with this script, or this movie, like what Ansel was saying, is the book is so perfect and the tone is so particular and so unique, which is why I fell in love with it, and I'm sure all of you fell in love with it. There really isn't any author who writes in the way that John Green writes, and I just wanted to bring a character that changed my life when I read her in a book to the screen in a way that paid justice to who she was on those pages. And so yeah, I tried to memorize my lines as authentically as possible and show up and just listen to what was going on around me and react from that. And it's such a lucky situation when you work with such incredible actors, where every single day your only real job is to professionally listen to what they're saying, because they're so good that whatever they do brings out the best in you in a way. So thanks, guys. Yeah, and I mean, I read the script almost 2 years ago now, exactly. Wow, 2 years ago now, yeah. And read the book pretty immediately after, and it changed my life. And I realized after I finished the book two things. One, I was incredibly depressed that Augustus Waters did not exist in real life. And two, and two, I found myself totally perplexed and completely moved by the fact that one of my new greatest role models was a fictional character in a book, Hazel. And so to be a part of this movie, I always say is not. I didn't want to do this movie as an actor to be like, look at me crying about blah, blah, blah. It was more the book moved me so much, and I felt like there was sort of whose ever hands it ended up falling into were sort of the guardians of this book, and it was our duty to protect it and to nourish it and nurture it and make sure that when it became a movie, when it grew up into a cinematic piece, it still retained the integrity that the book had.
For me, a lot of the characters I met with real cancer patients, and I was really nervous about doing that because I didn't want it to feel like I was using them or something. And then, as soon as I got there, you realize when you talk to cancer patients that they're exactly like any other kid, any other teenager. And I talked to them in 5 minutes. I was talking to them about music and movies and TV shows, just like you talk to anybody else about. And then for just like they said, with the character, I mean, I'm working with like the best actors really in the world, and a director that's my best friend, an amazing guy, and off this such an amazing book that presents teenagers in a way that's I feel lucky to be a part of, and a script that was great by Mike and Scott. So yeah, I'm super lucky.
That's Michael Weber and Scott Neustadter. You are fantastic.
Laura and Sam, you guys are both parents in real life. How hard was it for you to sort of go in and play these roles, which is, parents' nightmare?
John Green gave us such incredible characters, all of us, and the book is just the greatest gift for any actor because it tells the entire story, a story you can't put all of it, encapsulate into a movie, and so that was like the greatest cheat any actor could ask for. But the level of respect and humanity and integrity he gives to the voice of young people is the same level of respect and integrity he gave these parents who are kind of progressive hippies who were kids too, and one day they ended up pregnant and becoming parents, and they kind of don't know how to do that like most of us who are fumbling around at parenting. And so I think the relationship between this daughter and these parents is with such mutual respect, and it's a very different kind of relationship than you see in books and movies, but something I think a lot of us share with our parents. So it was really cool, also as a mom, not just an actor, to get to explore that and pay tribute to his incredible book.
Yeah.
Sam,
I mean, we both
Gemma,
have
ladies
kids.
and gentlemen.
I have like two little boys that are 2.5, and I know they're really cute. They're really cute. Oh, they're Winston. Oh, and one of them's name is Gus, which is really Gus. But so that I don't think I couldn't have done this part if I didn't have kids, because it really, obviously that was my whole preparation, in a sense for it. But also, all of us, like when you do a movie, a lot of times you don't really see the rest of the cast that much. You sort of work together and you're not. But all of us, from the second, I know when I got there, they were like, we're going to be at this restaurant, come meet us. And we all just hung out a lot, and it really informed our relationships.
Josh, it is, you are responsible for this. I wanted to talk about this cast. Can you talk a little bit? It's everybody here loves the book, obviously. So how hard was it to find the right actors to play these parts?
Some people came quickly. Nat had been in my first movie, and I knew I wanted him to be in everything that I made. So I was like, Nat has to be in this. And then and Shay had wanted to do this before I probably even knew what the property, what the book was. So I don't know, it was a long casting process, but I mean, we saw a lot of people, and I mean, she's the one who slayed us. So I mean, she was in the movie. You know, her and some other guys read, and they was just the ones that made us cry and made us feel something. So that's why they're the people in the movie. And I mean, Laura Dern has starred in like my favorite movies, like Blue Velvet and Wild at Heart and Ramblin' Rose. Movies that most of you can't see yet. And so I met her very early, and it was done. I mean, she was the mom for sure, without any doubt. And Sam, I love from True Blood, and yeah. So yeah, the cast, wonderful cast.
I think it was just such a touching story about the two of them, and that even after, you know, the ending, that they were like still in love.
It's relatable, really. Like, even if we aren't all cancer patients or if we don't know exactly what they're going through,
The feelings are like
what every person feels.
Yeah, like they're just like regular teenagers too, like us.